In example 1, we're asked to simplify 3 complex fractions. When we're simplifying complex fractions, we can divide it up to see it as a division problem and then multiply by the multiplicative inverse. Those are synonymous terms. They mean the same thing. So first we'll write this out as this is, we have 2 divided by 3/11. So that's 2 divided by 3/11, which equals, we'll go ahead and write an extra step in here. 2 over 1 divided by 3/11. Now we multiply by the reciprocal. So that equals 2 over 1 times 11 over 3. We just flip what we're dividing by. Multiply across the top. That's 2 times 11 over 1 times 3, which equals 22 thirds. And we could write this out as a division problem itself, 22 divided by 3, and use long division. But we should just recognize that 3 times 7 is 21, and then that leaves us with 1/3. 22 minus 21 is 1, so that leaves us with 1/3. And just to show that here real quick, what we did, 22 divided by 3, that's 7, which is 21. Subtract, we have 1. And the remainder always goes over what we're dividing by, so that equals the 7 1/3. Problem B, we're looking at 2/5 divided by 9, so we write that out. 2/5 divided by, we'll go ahead and skip to the second step of what we did in the first problem. Just write that as 9 over 1. Again, multiply by the reciprocal, so that equals 2/5 times 1/9. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. We have 2/45. And this is an example of don't be scared of fractions. If you end up with a solution like 2/45 or even 2 over 1,113, any fraction is an acceptable answer. Now you might want to go back and check your work, but don't be afraid of getting an answer that seems like a strange fraction. All right, 1/4 divided by 7/10. We'll write that out. 1/4, division symbol, 7/10. We multiply by the reciprocal. We get 1/4 times 10/7, which equals, multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, 10 over 28. And then we'll simplify that. That's 5 over 14. A little trick here also when you get to the multiplication part, and in multiplication of any fractions, if you have common factors in the top of one and the bottom of the other, you can always reduce before. So we'll write this back out. So 10 divided by 7. Now if you notice, 10 and 4, they share a common factor of 2. So we can go ahead and divide that out. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then if we multiply across the numerators and multiply across the denominators, we end up with 5/14. And really it's just a matter of preference, whether you'd rather find the unsimplified fraction first, 10/28, and then simplify, or if you'd rather factor out any common factors between the top and bottom before you multiply. It can get a little messy when you use this second method. If it's just one set of one numerator and one denominator and not the other two, it might be a simpler route. It is the most efficient because you're taking care of it all in that one step as opposed to writing it out at the end.